time to get your helmets on because it's time to go to battle. All the way from Studio B, it's showtime for Ken and John, the Detroit Sports Authorities.
Like every time. Hi, everybody. John Sarvier, CKiW iRADIO 76. Welcome to the Detroit Sports Authority, the 26th longest running internet sports talk show in the world. So, you know what we should probably do? Let's bring in our co-hosts. But before we do, let's tell you that everything here today is our own opinion, so don't bother us. We are authorities, we're not experts. That makes us one better than everybody else. We do have the highest standards here. We're not bought and paid for by anybody. That's what makes life a whole lot more fun. So, is that everything that we need, Kenny?
I believe so, except that I think today we're two better, not just one better.
Yeah, I know. On so many different levels. All right, so now that we established all the groundworks, all the rules, and also that you can pick us up anywhere that you can find really, really good podcasts, and that's from Podbean, our home site, or you can go to Pandora, or you can go to Plethora, or you can go to Peoria. You can still pick us all up. We are literally everywhere at iHeartRadio. So, Kenny.
And you know, the thing is, John,
yeah,
you can find us wherever you find good podcasts, but none are better.
I like your style. All right. That is true. I mean, for all the years that we've been doing this, and they come close, but they don't compare.
They do not.
All right, talking about not comparing. We're not going to be comparing your Detroit Lions to, say, the Atlanta Falcons. Even though that was
Why would we?
Well, it was a trendy thing to do in the preseason. You know, because they thought, well, you know, Ritter is ready, and Ritter is rotten. I mean,
here's the thing. Everybody has to have an opinion.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to not have an opinion. You're not allowed to say, well, I'm just going to wait and see how it all unfolds.
Uh-huh.
You have to come out and say, oh, this is the way it's going to happen. I know better. But nobody did. Everybody just had to sit back and watch and let things unfold. And as they're unfolding, it's like, well, now. You know, the thing that I've said all along is they have to earn whatever respect, whatever accolades, whatever have you, that they get. And so far, I'd say they're doing a pretty fine job of doing that.
Which one, Atlanta or Detroit?
Well, obviously, Detroit. Atlanta, what Atlanta is earning is, just kind of a couple of poopies.
Yeah, I mean, how do you... Now you're stuck. You know, you got this guy, he's supposed to be your franchise, and do you look at him and go, yeah, you could be just like Lance, and we trade you for a 7th rounder somewhere?
Yeah.
I mean, how long do you stay with somebody that clearly doesn't have any... I don't know, clearly you don't have any talent. You got some kind of talent to get where you were, but, you know, let's not think that Cincinnati was a powerhouse at the time. I mean, you had a badass defense. Your offense was helpful. You were 2-time whatever your little Power 6 conference was, but that's about it.
Yeah, and it's interesting as we see around the NFL, and we're looking at quarterbacks and all these guys that have come out. They've been hyped to high heaven,
Yeah.
Most of them aren't what they have been hyped to be.
No.
Last year everyone was falling all over themselves about Trevor Lawrence, and he's taken a step back this year.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is what he is, but there's only one of him. But I've said all along that what you don't need is you don't necessarily need incredible quarterback play. You need competent quarterback play, as long as you have a team around him. And you look at what Jared Goff is doing with the Lions, it's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, I mean,
you've got the consistency going there.
Your quarterback play is really helped out by your O-line. I mean, absolutely gives you time not to rush. If you don't rush, you're getting all your checkdowns. If you get all your checkdowns, chances of you throwing a bad throw into traffic is lessened. But boy, I don't know. Did you watch the game last week? Parts of it.
I was in and out. I saw the highlights.
All right. I mean, there were some throws that Goff was throwing, and it was to the Saint, and it was in between coverage, and I mean, they double teamed Saint, and Goff threw the ball to him anyways, and it's either an amazing throw or Tampa secondary is suspect, because it was like like a magician. How did you thread that needle twice? How was this thing not picked off? How did he make the reception? I don't want to get on the bandwagon and be a Saint believer, but I mean, he was doing some stuff that was like, okay, all right, I got the popcorn on the couch. We're ready.
And it's a team effort. I mean, you look at the block that Reynolds threw to spring Saint for his touchdown.
Right.
He just annihilated that guy.
Yeah, and really, everybody watches, him hit the guy, and watch Saint try to go sideways and then backward, then sideways, and then he finally makes it. But what nobody really sees is the guy that Reynolds hit. I mean, he crumpled. I don't think he was expecting a hit at all.
Yeah. And he went down.
Yeah, he did. And it wasn't even a thought of it. And it really, if you're looking, I mean, I was looking for a flag because I thought, you know what, in today's NFL, that's going to get you something. But, I think that game they let him play.
Yeah.
Not like when the Leafs play Ottawa, but, I mean, there was some questionable stuff, and then there's a lot of, it's almost, what do you think, Kenny? I mean, nowadays in the NFL, anytime that there's a long pass, a pass for over its 20, 25 yards, and if it's not caught, I'm expecting a flag automatically, just because it seems like everything is pass interference.
Yeah. They don't want to have. They don't give the defense any favors. That's for sure. They clamp down real tight on them, and anything that's a hit that looks impressive on TV, you're probably violating some rule.
Yeah.
Well, at least they're going to say you violated some rule.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I don't know why that is. Yeah, but I mean, anytime you get close to a quarterback, and if he does a whip snap throw, and then all of a sudden you got some defensive linemen come in there and just about have them wrapped up, you can't stop. I mean, these are 300-pound guys coming at you. They don't stop on a dime normally. So they're going to be they're going to do their best not to run into the passer, but if you can tell this is how good NFL defensemen are, or D-line guys are, is that you still have Bryce Young playing in the 6th week of the NFL without being crushed.
Yeah.
Because really...
And that little guy.
Yeah, I mean, you look at him and you go, yeah, what was, 6'1" to 6 foot to 5'11 and a half to 5'11 to 5'10 to 5'10 and a half to 5'8. Yeah. I mean, it's not that you're a little guy or nothing, because really you had the guy from Boston College many, many years ago, Mr. Flutie, that took it to a pretty high level. But, me being at 6 foot, if you time everything out, it's like I can't see past Greg Parham. If he was running at me, I couldn't see him, and he would have to be another 5 or 6 inches taller to put this in perspective. I don't know how he does it. And unless you're, you can't stay in the pocket, and yet they don't have an O-line that's going to allow him to do 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Or something.
Sure. Even if you know how to spell Mississippi.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. I mean, sooner or later, sooner or later you're going to take a look at the Lions and they're going to lose 2. Here's what you don't want to do, Lions. Don't lose right before the bye, because then you'll get everybody going, SOL, for 2 weeks. Win. Lose this week, win before you have the bye. I think the bye is what, Las Vegas?
Yep.
All right, that should be a win anyways.
We have at Baltimore and then home against Vegas on Monday night.
Vegas at Monday night?
Yep.
Wow, that's a long wait, man. God bless. Dear NFL, we have our Sundays where we have to watch the game. It's like 1 o'clock. We get it. Okay, do everything before 1 o'clock. Get through this, because kind of part of what we do, we got to kind of watch the game. Now, years and decades beforehand, get the highlights or get the lowlights, and we're done. But this is going to be. I thought Tampa was going to be a spooky game, and it was for a very long time. And now, you got Lamar. Okay, these are 2 evenly matched teams, and I mean, they're the same, but they're different, but they're the same. So what's FanDuel saying this week, Ken?
Well, the Lions are sitting there as 3 points underdog on the road in Baltimore.
3-point underdogs, really?
3-point underdogs. Yep. It's interesting, because you look at the Lions' schedule and you see this Baltimore game. That's a game where you could look and say, I can see them losing that.
Sure.
You don't necessarily see them losing, but
then
you have that home game against the Raiders. You come off the bye and you're at the Chargers. Well, they sure don't scare me. I keep hearing about Justin Herbert. What a great quarterback. Great elite quarterback. I haven't seen it.
He doesn't have anything around him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's really funny?
I'm not scared about that game. Yeah.
But what's really funny about this year, though, Kenny, and see if this is different for you. Normally, in the beginning of the year, we can say win, loss, win, loss. And now, every single game that you look at, you go, win, toss up, win, toss up.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if the Cowboys scare me anymore if you're Detroit. But you better have everybody back. No. What's that?
Yeah. Yeah, I looked at that game and I said, they don't scare me either. Frankly, I'm looking at this, and I had said at the beginning, and I had said to myself, well, if you go 5-3 going into the bye, and then you go 6-3 after the bye, that's 11 wins. So I kind of looked at it as my baseline. Well, they've already got the 5 wins before the break.
Yeah.
With 2 to go. Now, if they split these games and you go 6-2 into the break,
that's looking good, man.
That looks good. But what happens if you win them both? You go 7-1. Oh, holy shit!
7-1. Then during that bye week, everybody from Sports Illustrated, from ESPN, from Football Daily, from Football Illustrated, everybody's going to be in Detroit. Or the West Coast, actually, because when do they come? When do they play back at Ford Field?
That'll be the game after that. That'll be the game after the Chargers game.
And who's that?
Let me take a look. That might be...
Get the intern on it.
Yeah, looking at the intern here. Come on, intern. Where's the schedule? There it is. Okay. We are back here on the 11th, on the 19th of November against Chicago.
Whee!
That should be fun.
Yeah. And then who we playing Thanksgiving? Not Buffalo?
Green Bay.
Whee!
Green Bay.
Wow. Okay. So it's what, Bears and then Green Bay and then
the Saints on the road.
3 wins right there. You know?
Yeah.
Again, we got to take a look at what Mr. Williams is doing now. You know,
and then after that, you're back home for Chicago, and then at Denver.
Oh, Jesus God Almighty! Look,
yeah.
why don't they just say, "Look, Detroit, here's your first round bye." You know.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you had incredible injuries, even if Goff went down, you got Teddy Bridgewater. You plug right on in. You know, and he beats Denver, no problem. Denver's secondary is truly secondary. You know, there's nothing that scares. Their defense isn't kind of bad, but their offense, you know, you're not going anywhere. You know, how much do you suck this up and you say it's real? You know, and you say, look, Dallas, do you need another quarterback that you give us for a 7th round? We'll give you this guy, and we'll do the Tiger thing. We'll pay 2/3 of his salary to get him out of town. You know, I mean, the first year he was with Denver, you know, it was like, well, I'm getting acclimated. Well, it's different. You know, I've been so long with Seattle, you know, but now it's just like, it's really apparent. It's none of the above. It's you don't have the weapons. That's what it is. He doesn't have the weapons around him. He doesn't have an O-line, which is true. He doesn't have an O-line like he did in Seattle. You know, but it's not like you're losing your ability. It's that you're looking at all that draft capital you blew through. I mean, and who cares about the money? It's not yours, but money comes and goes to billionaires. But, oh, God, Kenny, look at all that draft pick. I mean, that they gave up. Whee! And
this is a franchise that's going to be dead in the water for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, how much? I'm trying to think what the NFL salary cap is. Is there?
Mm-hmm.
Because
I'm sorry, what was that?
I can't think of what the NFL salary cap is, and I don't believe there is one.
Oh yeah.
You know,
there is one.
Yeah, but then how do you give somebody $250 million and you got 3 quarterbacks already making that money? You know, so
because they were able to maneuver around it. They push gears around and do different accounting gimmicks.
Really?
Yeah,
we
were able to do that. Well,
if we only knew somebody in accounting that could inform us how the hell you would hide $240 million over 4 years.
Well, they do it. They take the, for example, they take a contract and they say, we're going to stick voidable years on the end. Well, what's a voidable year? It's a year that doesn't exist. You're already saying up front, you're not going to be here for that year, so we're going to call it a voidable year because it's going to be voided when we get to it. But it pushes the money further out. And why would you push the money further out? Because the cap goes up every year, so those dollars are cheaper against your cap in the out years. And that's how it seems like the Rams are able to string it along for as long as they did. And unfortunately, you get to a point where you have to blow it up because you've got all these old guys, they're on big contracts, and you've spent all your draft capital. You pushed all the chips in the middle, and then it's like, okay, let's go celebrate for the next 5 years and go think.
Yeah. Because really, you look at Kansas City's quarterback, and you kind of go, Mr. Mahomes, you're cheap. You know? I mean, for whatever they signed him for, whatever his thing is, you look at Mr. Watson, you know, and you kind of go, there's your $250 million. You know, I mean, I don't think Lamar got that kind of money, but he got kind of close. You know, look at Denver. That's $250 million. You know, and so now any quarterback, I'm telling you, if you're Goff, you're getting Burrows to swap over to football and just sit back and enjoy your $500 million, because you could say, well, if the quarterback in Denver and the quarterback in Cleveland is worth $250 million and they're not doing anything, look how much more I'm worth to the NFL. So let's start the contract extension at $500 million over 7 years. Okay, with no trade clause.
Yeah.
No.
That would be a loan.
Yeah. And that would be the starting thing. And then whoever comes after next year goes, well, look at me now. You know, I did better than Goff, so I'm worth, you know, probably just a little bit over $500 million, you know, for my 6 years. I mean, now, here's the story, though, Kenny. Are you signing Goff for 6 years?
You can't go 6, I don't think. I think the longest he goes 5.
Why?
Because that's the rule.
You can
limit how far out you can go.
5-year contracts in the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
For quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, that is true.
That's why you have, just looking at it, though, you know, Goff's going to get paid.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is he going to get paid like the Mahomes? I doubt it, but he'll certainly earn a good contract. And the thing about these big contracts, and we've seen that with Stafford in the past, where the first year or so, after you sign the contract, you go, oh, and then the next round comes around, and the money goes up, and all of a sudden it doesn't look like that bad of a contract. Look what happened with Goff 2 years in, and they had to include Goff in the trade package because of the contract. And everybody says, oh, my God, you know, he's got 44 years left on this enormous contract. But the nice thing about it is after 2 years, you could cut him and walk away from it. Whew. Now, after 2 years into the contract, everyone's looking at it going, wow, what a team-friendly contract that is. We only pay him $30 million a year.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, because look at everything that's going on in Cardinal land. You know, really, oof, ouch. You kind of, you know, if we can see it at this level, and let's just say we're more elevated than the normal fan, you know, when it comes to all sports. And yet, I think the normal fan saw paying any quarterback $250 million that has not gone to the Super Bowl, and repeatedly, you're kind of going, is this a Cabrera contract, NFL style?
What it is a team that's looking to give the owner an excuse to keep you around. So what you do is you go in big on a quarterback and say, now he needs time to develop. We need to work with this guy. And he's the future, and you have to give us time to develop this guy. And then things go along a couple of years, and then, you know, people start to sour on him, and you say, well, you know what? We're going to draft the next quarterback. Wash, rinse, repeat.
With the first pick. Yeah,
the first overall pick.
Unless you're the smartest man in the room, and it's funny how it's oscillating so much with Mr. Gibbs. You know, everybody went, what the hell did you trade up for? And then they go, God, he's the greatest. And then he gets hurt, and we really need a running back. And everyone goes, God, why did we trade for? What did we trade up for? I got a funny feeling it's going to vacillate a whole lot with this guy, you know, unless...
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
But, you know, you go back to Montgomery and you go, This was the same problem you had in Chicago. You were a China doll there. You know, flashes of brilliance, but more on the bench than on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. What other running back is out there?
Oh.
Does Minnesota have somebody? Is Adrian Peterson still around?
Not. Minnesota's running game is horrible.
Adrian Peterson's still out there. He can suit up at any given time. You know, I mean, AP could bring back the old glory. You know, so as soon as that happens, let's wait 3 years and let's sign Cabrera again for the Detroit, for the Tiger team and see how well that works out. You kind of go back, and I don't. Do you guys have like outdoor furniture at your place there in Cincinnati, wherever you're at? All right. I mean, at one time, over in Sterling Heights, we used to have that hammock. Now, not to be seen anymore. And I used to, like, go back and just, on the most sunniest of days, after, like, really, hitting it hard over here and stuff like that, I'd hop on the hammock and just, like, do that little gentle swing. And that's what I think every time I think that Cabrera is not on the team anymore. That's the same nesty feeling I get. We don't have to, go through that charade and that total wink. It's kind of like the chick that's 300 pounds and she lost 10 pounds sometime, somewhere, because she took a big dump or something. And it was like, look how much thinner you look. Oh, you look great. And it's like, no, you don't. And so we don't have to go through that whole charade of, oh, look at Cabrera, best shape of his career, which is now becoming an inside joke, elbow. And even the people high up are saying, well, yeah, we kind of knew that was kind of pulling your knee.
Yeah.
I'm glad. So now what we got now is we'll have, oh, look at Green. Green's ready to play. He looks healthy. 3, 2, 1. Ow! Okay. There goes June. But look at that. He's rehabbed his ass off. Here he comes back again. Ow! There goes August. Is he unlucky?
He was running out onto the field, and he tripped over the foul line.
Ow! Now he's out for 3 weeks. Now he's got to get Tommy John on the other arm. Ow! All right, so he rehabbed all year, and he came back next year in spring training. He looks great. Ow! He kicked a bag of balls, and now he's got to have Tommy John on his leg. So now they got to take something out of his arm, put in his leg. Okay, ow! As that contract keeps rolling up, and Green says, hey, Mr. Prince Fielder, move over a little bit. I want to watch Beverly Hillbillies with you while collecting this big-ass check. Ow! I'm telling you, I'm thinking, can you get a corner fielder? And if you keep Meadows, at center, and he develops, it's easier, I think, as much as you know baseball, and you're the baseball guru around here, is it easier to find a corner fielder than it is a center fielder, obviously?
Yes, absolutely.
So, Mr. Green, how would you like to be the DH?
Ow!
Yeah. I mean, dear Torque, can you play right field? I don't think that Green could get hurt at center. I mean, at first base. Maybe he could. Somebody steps on his foot. Ow! The hot dog vendor throws a hot dog on the field, just happens to hit Green. Ow! Out for 4 months. Out for the rest of the year with concussion protocol. Ow! I'm not...
But, maybe we could pick somebody up on the cheap off of the Angels. They're having a big fire sale now. Jeez.
Hey, Mr. Trout.
We couldn't keep Ohtani, so everybody goes.
Do you blame him?
No.
No.
Not at this point. They haven't done shit with them anyway, so you might as well blow them out.
Well, the thing is, they kept them close with him. Without him, and they're going to be without him. Because I think we discussed this a couple of weeks ago. Say what you want, folks. Do what you want to do. Become stalking horses all over the place. New York's going to come in with a couple of suitcases filled with thousands and go, pick, But does Tony want to play in the biggest media fishbowl ever? I mean, it's all or nothing. High risk, high reward. If you blow, the New York fans and the New York media will kill you. If you do exactly what you have been doing, you will be the king of that city.
Yep.
So, what do you do, son? Do you take the money and risk it? Or do you go to Kansas City, take the $500 million paycheck, and just sit back and go, oh, shucks. When you got zero pressure on you, you have one of the nicest open-air stadiums in Major League Baseball, and you got no writers. You don't have any pressure from any fan. You have no pressure from any media. You could have a cushy life in KC, man. And you don't have to do anything. You could be the 2024 Brett Hall. Brett over there. I mean, you could do it. Where do you want to go? I mean, where do you think he ends up, Kenny?
Probably the Dodgers.
Ooh.
They don't seem to give a damn about their luxury tax situation, do they?
Well, again, as somebody who knows numbers inside and out and who can screw people up in their taxes and things and help out people in their taxes and things, But, the thing is, because we were just looking at things at the monitor right now, because we put in the thing about the 5-year contract in the NFL. Yeah, there's 5 years, but you get automatic tack-ons. You can get automatic extensions. So that's 5 years plus, team option, wink eye. This is really a 10-year contract. We gave you a 5-year automatic extension. I mean, none of these contract things mean anything anymore. As much as, and Kenny, as much as you've seen this, how do you do this? There's so many guys. I think either New York or Dallas had a CPA that his whole job was to find loopholes in all these contract things that the major leagues say you got to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And so,
pretty,
go ahead.
That's why each team has what they call a cap specialist. And the cap specialist is the guy whose job is to make sure that you are compliant with the cap when you spend as much money as you damn well please.
Right. Yeah. I mean, really, you can wrap up anybody. I mean, I'm trying to think the guy from baseball, and I think it was one of the New York teams. He deferred his salary for about 40 years, And so a guy...
Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah, okay, right. And he keeps collecting. God bless.
They're still paying him.
Yeah, really. And when was the last time Mr. Bonilla played?
About 20 years ago.
I was going to say he had a little sticker that said, vote for Carter, I mean, job well done. I mean, financially, from your side of town, does that make more sense than getting your $250,000 or $250 million check right now?
It depends on what plan he's done. If he's deferring all the tax on it and stretching that out, it could very well be the case. And in fact, if he winds up living in a state with no income tax, he'd be in pretty good shape.
So you kind of think, why doesn't any other athlete see this and go, maybe this is a good idea. Once I get my first year of $30 million, I bought my $10 million house and my $2 million cars and bought my $3 million hooker, and I still have $5 million. Maybe I should stretch it out a little longer.
Yeah, and as a professional athlete, you have a reputation of being financially savvy, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Ask anybody that won big on the lotto,
Yeah. It's like, can I get my hands on it yesterday?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, God bless. I just made $996,000 this week. Maybe I should get a drug dependency or something. Maybe I should start cocaine or something. Here's the story. I'll just, for $50, I'll get this other guy to pee in the cup. There you go. Or if I'm that big of a star to the team, is the team going to rat me out? I realize that MLB sends their guys, out to make sure. What a job. Watch a guy put his crank in a cup, just to make sure that it's his crank. The stories they could tell. Couldn't they get like a chick or something like that? And then have the guys have like performance anxieties and they can't pee for about 10 minutes? and then just have her bitch. What's the matter, big guy? What's the matter, slugger? There you go. Then that way you'll make... Alternatively, you need some help? You want me to hold it for you? Why is it sticking up like that? Yeah, you're not going to be able to pee like that, son. Let me tell you what torque is all about. There's no way when the big red rocket of love is on the launch pad that you're going to be able to hit the shower there. We'll wait. Or else she could say, "Gee, I thought a guy your size would be bigger." There's all kinds of things that could go on.
Or even this. Why is it crinkly? Oh, wait, we know who you are.
Verlander, I know that's you. That's awesome. Yeah. Gee, Verlander, you did more in Detroit. How do you know it's me?
We saw the pictures.
Oh, Lord, we can't get those things out of your head. There's just some photos that stick in your head because you want to, and there's some that you just can't get rid of.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's not more widely posted, especially by New York Met fans,
Yeah.
This is the dick that left us.
Huh. Yeah.
And
well, you know what? Here's the problem. There's the problem.
What's that?
And that there's a lot of net left in this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they another fire sale. Jeez.
Gee.
Now, it's kind of interesting. You look in the playoffs, and you got Texas and Houston. It's Verlander and Scherzer.
Yeah, and and the funny thing is that the Rangers are looking to kill. They're on stun. Yeah. They should have won. They're so mad that Houston squeezed in at the very last game by a half game on the last day, to take first place. But, then they got the bye and all that stuff, and then Texas had to, fight their way all the way through. Wasn't all that big of a fight. Well, wasn't all that big of a fight. But then again, now you go, okay, it'd be interesting to see what the Mets got for Krinkly. Because I would like to know the teams that Krinkly left, what prospects, and I'm doing the air bunny thing, air quote, of all the prospects from any team, from what New York got, what Detroit got, which prospects from any time you got rid of Verlander panned out? Who turned out? And I don't mean, well, we got Bob Smith and then we traded him to Cincinnati and then we got Al Jones and Al Jones is great. No, I mean it directly. The people you got directly from the trade for Krinkly, how did that benefit either team? And I'm not sure we got Rogers,
Yeah. Obviously the trade from the Mets, they got two minor leaguers, and obviously it's too soon to tell if either of them will work out.
Yeah.
The one they traded, Drew Gilbert, was the team's number one prospect.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, it's almost like every time wherever Krinkly went to, that team benefited greatly. From the team that he left, cue the Price is Right sound. Wah, 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 wah. I don't think anybody got anything, and I'm not still, no matter where Rogers came from, I'm just still not sold that guy is an everyday bona fide catcher. They keep going from he's great defensively to, well, he can hit, to, well, he's great defensively. Well, he can hit. Well, he handles his staff well. Well, you said that about Mr. Haas, too. And how you enjoying Cleveland if you're still there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one, Eric Haas. Go ahead.
But here's the thing. We never see a situation where the team comes out and says, this player sucks. Okay? You'll never, ever hear that.
Not in baseball.
Why would they?
Well,
why would they say, we have this player and he sucks?
Because then you put him designated for assignment. That tells you they suck. And or you hear the term traded for cash considerations. That means you suck.
Considerations.
Future considerations.
Which means they didn't even give you any money.
It's like
you take them.
Yeah, it's just like dating the psycho girlfriend. We don't care. Here, take everything out of the house. Go. I mean, ask any guy that went through a crappy divorce. Whatever you want, there, just go.
Yeah.
Just take it. And take it. Get out of here. Good riddance to you. And that's.
Yeah, I'll get you the U-Haul.
I'll help the U-Haul.
Yeah.
Good Lord. But it's interesting. I don't know. I know that they got that other kid coming up in the farm system, Dingler,
mm-hmm.
that they're kind of riding high on. Okay. I like him. I like Olsen. I like Olsen in the pitching staff, and hurry the hell up. Keep that boy there. Because he already, Mr. Reese, he already went through, just about the major leagues. Or, he did more than just like 3 spot starts, and he did well. He grind through some serious teams, and it wasn't like, well, no one saw him, and then the first time you throw a pitcher out there, no other team saw him, and they don't know how to hit him, and he looks like a genius, and et cetera, et cetera. It's I think this kid's got talent, a lot of talent. So of all the guys, if you're trying to get Mizey and Screwball, et cetera, Manning out there, I think this is now your new ace. I think this is your new anchor in Reese Olsen.
It all comes down to development. And we see that now with the Lions.
Yeah.
You see these players that they bring in, and, the first year or two, nothing special, and then after a while, they start making major contributions, and you say, what happened here? Well, what happened is they've been working with the guy. And they don't just throw players out there and say, okay, you start playing now, and you'll learn on the job. No, not so quick. We're going to take our time, and when you're ready to play, we'll start working you in. And that's why when you see a guy like Jameson Williams, and everybody's pounding the table. Where is he? Where is he? I want to see him score touchdowns today. Just wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
And he got one this week.
Yeah, he did.
And everyone's, oh, yeah, great things ahead. Well, I don't know. Just wait and see. What's going on?
Popcorn and couch. Just watch. Just get your popcorn, sit on your couch, and then just wait. Because really, if you think he's the second coming of Megatron, cue the Judas Priest song. You got another thing coming, boys. He is not the hands team. He does not have good hands. He does not catch. What he does is he stretches the field out a whole big bunch, especially in the flats, because who can keep up with his speed? But damn well, it's 50-50. He'll hold on to it. The most simplest of passes, he does not hold on to it, and that's his knock at, the combines and stuff. He can't catch. He can run like crazy, and he can catch 50% of the time. All right, so can Ken Pocket, Go run, Ken, to the end zone and look up. Maybe you'll get pass interference.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, that's all you need him for.
Yeah.
So you don't need a Megatron. This team's already got plenty of talent at wide receiver. Okay? They're not big names, but you got plenty of talent out there.
Reynolds
so
and
what do
who?
you do? You use him. Well, you got Saint, you got Raymond, Reynolds. I mean, you got a lot of guys out there. But you know what? These are guys that play specific roles.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And then you got another guy that plays a specific role.
How much do you trust?
One of the big problems the Lions have had over the years is they bring a guy in and they say, okay, you've got to play every down.
Yeah.
You've got to prove that you are a frontline starter. You're going to play every down, and then the guy craps out because you're asking him to do things he's not good at. And then he goes off to New England and plugs in. He does a certain role, and all of a sudden, just, hey, this guy's making a big contribution to a winning team. How'd that happen? Well, it happened because you're using him the way he should be used.
Yeah. I easily see, here comes Mr. Hooker, with the Lions. And if he's got as much talent as people are saying that he has, like at camp, and the intelligence that he has, that he's showing, the willingness to sit through all kinds of tape and walkthroughs and all this kind of stuff. How big is that extension for Goff? Goff's got what, this year, next year?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, all right. So I'm almost looking at this year as kind of like an Edgar Martinez kind of year for Goff. You're coming into the contract year, and so now you play your ass off. But then you get paid and you hit 221 for the rest of your life. I mean, you got to tip your hat to Edgar. I mean, you really do. I mean, he was a very good player. He was so crappy. Then he was on contract year, and somehow the gods gifted him, and then the gods taketh away, but they didn't take away that paychecketh. That was brilliant. To me, that is like, I mean, if anything that you can have as cliches, you can have the Cabrera contract, and you can have the Edgar Martinez last contract.
Yeah.
I mean, as indicators of crappy players or so-so players or players that haven't produced in years go for the contract year and then they just crank. And then for some god reason you get the owner or the GM that doesn't look over the whole body of work. They look over, the last 5 months and they give you the ransom, and then you're, again, Prince Fielder. Can you imagine at one time, Kenny, $200 million was so astronomical, we just could not wrap our heads around it.
Yeah.
I mean, and Boros, God bless. I wish that he did like private sector. I wish that he would like negotiate our raises and stuff at work.
Yeah.
Because that'd be fabulous. Whatever.
Absolutely.
Is he still in the game anymore? Does he need to be in anymore? I mean, he's made billions anyways.
I think he just does it for fun.
just to see how many. I mean, he's got to feel bad because there's a changing tide of owners that he could, schmooze and shellac, i.e., Mr. I,
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but it's got to go like, oh, man, this is going to be too easy. Watch me take a rabbit out of my hat. Again, this thing always works. Okay.
Huh.
I mean, I would love to say, I wish that somebody would record one of his negotiations just to see how the hell he does it. There's a billion agents out there. How does this guy do it? From my understand, he brings a briefcase full of stats and bamboozles the William Clay Fords of the world that go, oh yeah, you don't want to look stupid, so you go, oh yes, CB, oh yes, oh, you're absolutely right, boy, I never knew these metrics. Why? Let's get out that ink pen. Okay. It's like, sucker. I mean, it's almost to the point where Boris goes right before he goes into the room, he winks at his client, goes, watch this, hold my beer. I'll give you how much millions? I'll give you anything over the number you're thinking I'm going to take for me. Okay. There you go. I mean, really, if
so he goes to the owner, he says, look at this statistic over here where it says DSO, right? See how high this number is compared to the league average. Okay. What he doesn't explain is DSO stands for dumb shit owner.
Yeah. Or what IR stands for,
Yeah.
Look at this. This man's been on, his IR numbers is higher than the average in the league. Why, that's good, says the owner. We want somebody who's, more than average. Boy, the fans will love me. Okay.
Yeah. So the player gets out on the field, goes, ow.
Ow. Yeah, Mr. Green, where you come from? Ow. And it's like, look, dude, we got you out of high school. You're not 37 or 42, or you're not, Blonda, who played for how long? It's like, you can't be 22, 23. Don't be like Mizey, who's going to be back at 27, and he'll be able to start for any team. I mean, really, by the time Mizey gets back, he's 28.
Yeah.
And really, the Screwy Louie thing is, again, we're going to have to lean on your baseball knowledge there, Kenny. I mean, he is still on his first contract, isn't he?
Yep.
Okay, and so when you go on the IR as much as he's been, you don't accumulate hours or days, do you, towards your free agency, right?
Actually, I believe you do.
You do?
Because you're on the Major League roster, you're just on the IL. Yeah.
Wow, even with Tommy John?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Okay, so why doesn't everybody go under Tommy John twice? And then thanks for the contract. But look at me, I'm ready to go now. I'm not even hurt goods. I've been resting and rehabbing for 2 years. It's not like there's any wear and tear on my body.
I'm in the best shape of my life.
Good. Well, you know what we're going to do? Because we don't know what to do with this guy because he really doesn't do anything. As special envoy to, Mr. Illich, we're going to have Mr. Cabrera do the negotiations with contracts now. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you want. There you go, dude. Just as long as you don't make as much money as I did, then there you are. Phenomenal. Talking about phenomenal. You watch any of the Red Wing game yet?
I watched the one game against, who was that?
If it wasn't Columbus, it was...
No, it wasn't Columbus. I'm trying to remember the one before that. I was half asleep.
Well, it wasn't New Jersey.
No.
So click. Not New Jersey, not Columbus. They had one right in between the two, and they weren't, they were at home, right? There was a home opener. I'm trying to give you all these clues.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played a team and played them tough, but it could have been from, they could have had a bad disease and had TB.
Tampa Bay, that's right.
There you go, here to help you out. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough game. I mean, that was really...
Yeah.
Right. They keep doing it in the Detroit media. They keep doing all the newcomers are scoring. All the newcomers are scoring. Well, half these newcomers have been in the league for years. Newcomers here maybe. But, boy, you take a look at Mr. Sider and in 3 whole games, it looks like he really took a step back.
Mm-hmm.
He looks lost this year. And it's like, trade him, damn it. Trade him for a wide receiver. I mean, but you're right, Kenny. I was just thinking about what you said a couple of minutes ago. When the Lions got wide receivers, you had to play every down. Whether your name was called or not, or you're there to block, or you're just there to decoy, you had to play every down because that's how Stafford runs. You needed a Megatron, and that's what they kind of all did. Talk about all did, my good man. What did we not talk about in 1 whole minute?
We didn't talk about Major League playoffs, where we have 3 teams that were right at the top during the regular season get shown the door very early.
Wah, 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 wah.
And the Atlanta Braves, everybody said that's a monster team. Goodbye. We had the Dodgers, the big money team. Goodbye. And then we had the Baltimore Orioles. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's too bad to see that.
Right. Yeah. So now we're watching teams like the
Phillies,
and watching the Astros and the Rangers. Got the Diamondbacks there for some reason. Don't know why.
How? Yeah, I mean, Diamondbacks were left for dead in the beginning. I mean, Phillies, too. Yeah. I mean, dear God, Phillies, how did you figure that all out? You did it last year. You did it this year. Don't do nothing during the season and then get hot and then play some team that won over 100 games and then beat them straight series. Okay.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, man. Just save yourself up for the playoffs. Get yourself squeaked into the playoffs. I mean, Cincinnati, I was so sorry not to see them not make it. Because, I mean, with LA and all that stuff, that would have been must-see TV. Now Rangers, Astros, okay, that's about it. But, you got to feel bad for it, and we probably get the intern on this next week. It's like, how many years in the last 30 has Atlanta been great during the season and done well, and then go to the post and they just blow it? Yeah. I mean, they're kind of like the reverse St. Louis Cardinals, who are always good, and then they kind of go far, but then they never really make it. And God, look how long, even down to the Schmaltz era, how long has Atlanta always been there? They're kind of like the Minnesota Vikings. They've always been there. They're always, kind of in contention, and then they just, this is our year, this is our year, this is our year. How many years, Kenny, off the top of your head, has the Braves gone to the World Series?
Boy, it's been a number of maybe 7 or 8.
Yeah.
They did win one.
One.
So give them credit for one.
Okay.
And then they lost all the rest of them.
Yeah. And this year is going to be their year, and they never, ever get over the hump. Ever.
No.
They're going to get to a certain point, and that's as far as you're going to go. If you're going into the World Series with Atlanta, to play, you want, get the champagne on ice. You won. You just have to wait them out.
Not only that, get online, set up your account at FanDuel. You got a parlay for you there, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, one of these days we're going to pick up FanDuel as one of our sponsors. Gee, why not? We'll talk about parlays. We'll talk about unders. We'll talk about money line. We'll talk about the whole nine. One of these shows we should probably demystify all this crap, and tell people, what does all that actually really mean, because people understand horse betting. Here's my $2. Put it on number 3 to show. You get that. All right. But parlays, cross-ups, how many points being laid down, what's negative 180 mean, all these things. Stop being like this little boys club that only we know the terminology and nobody else can, and that makes us sound smart. Tell us how that is when you got to go when your car's getting repoed because you're the smartest man in the world and you put all your money on Coach Prime. Take off the sunglasses and take a look at your team, son. Take a look at your team. Take a look at your son, team. Oh, God. All right. We got to get out of this joint, my good man, in case you got to go somewhere. So, like we said at the top of the hour, you can come see us anywhere at any given time on the World Wide Web, wherever the finer podcasts are at. And you can find us at Podbean. You can find us at Pandora. You can find us at iHeartRadio. You can find us anywhere, even on that Sony thing. Okay, so for the Super CPA, Ken Pocket, and myself, John Sauer, thanks a lot for being here with us on the 28th longest-running sport internet show. So, till that time, thanks a lot for being with the Detroit Sports Authorities. Ready, Kenny?
Yes.
All right. 2, 3. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Kenny.
Good night.